The small shuttle shuddered violently as it entered the atmosphere of Jora 9, a distant planet on the edge of explored space. Kai gripped the armrests of his seat, his knuckles white. He had been on missions before, but nothing like this. The mission was supposed to be simple. Escort his alien stepsister Lyra back to her homeworld and observe her species during a rare seasonal change. What no one had warned him about was how unpredictable her species could be during this season. Lyra sat across from him, her violet skin glinting faintly under the shuttle's dim lights. Her eyes, larger than a human's, flickered with something Kai couldn't identify. Restlessness, maybe excitement, or something more primal. She had always been beautiful in an alien way, elegant and graceful, but today she seemed charged, as if the air around her hummed with tension. "Kai," she said, her voice melodic but slightly sharper than usual, "do you think the council will be ready for me?" "They better be," Kai muttered, trying to steady his nerves. "If they're not, we're in trouble." He looked out the viewport. The planet below was a swirling mass of green forests and golden plains, punctuated by jagged mountains. Jora 9 was breathtaking, but it was wild, untamed, dangerous. Lyra shifted in her seat, her fingers brushing the console absent-mindedly. "I feel strange," she said quietly. "It's the season. I can't control it." Kai's stomach tightened. He had read the reports, but reading about the mating season was different from witnessing it firsthand. Her species didn't simply act strange. Their behavior became highly unpredictable, even aggressive, and humans had very little ability to calm them once it began. The shuttle jolted again, throwing both of them forward. "Brace yourself," Kai shouted. The engines groaned as turbulence shook the cabin. Outside, massive storm clouds roiled and flashes of electricity danced across the sky. Lyra's eyes widened. "It's coming. The storm. The energy here, it triggers the season faster." Kai frowned. "Triggers? What do you mean?" "I mean," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "my instincts, they're faster, stronger. I don't know if I can control myself when we land." Kai swallowed. He had to stay calm for both their sakes. "Then we stick to the plan," he said firmly. "We land, we find the shelter, we wait it out. You're not alone. I'll handle this." The shuttle finally broke through the storm and the planet's surface loomed below. Mountains rose like jagged teeth. Forests stretched endlessly and rivers glittered like molten silver. The landing zone was a flat clearing surrounded by massive trees. As the shuttle's landing struts touched the ground, Lyra stiffened. Her body tensed as if ready to spring, and Kai could see her muscles ripple beneath her skin. The shuttle doors hissed open, and a blast of humid, electric-charged air rushed in. Lyra bolted from the seat and Kai had to chase after her. "Lyra, wait!" he shouted. She didn't stop. She ran into the forest like a shadow, silent but fast. Kai cursed and sprinted after her, dodging roots and low branches. The forest was thick, filled with alien vegetation that seemed almost alive. Strange flowers glowed faintly and the ground pulsed with energy. "Kai." "Stop," Lyra called, but her voice was distant. She paused near a clearing, her breathing heavy, eyes darting around. Her pupils had expanded and she looked wild. Kai skidded to a stop beside her. "Lyra, what's happening?" "Talk to me!" She shook her head and a low hum emanated from her throat. It wasn't a sound humans made. It was a vibration that resonated through the trees. Kai felt it in his chest. The air seemed to vibrate around them. The season. "It's calling me," she whispered, her hands glowing faintly. "I can feel the others. They're near. I think they know I'm here." Kai's mind raced. This wasn't just an emotional change. Lyra's species communicated and reacted through energy signals. During mating season, those signals became overwhelming, pulling them toward each other and sometimes triggering aggression. He realized with horror that being alone with her could be dangerous. "We need shelter," he said, grabbing her arm gently. "Now there's a research outpost a few kilometers north. We can hide there until the season passes." She nodded reluctantly. "Okay, but we have to move fast." The journey through the forest was tense. Kai kept one hand near his utility knife, the other steadying Lyra. Strange creatures watched them from the shadows, some bird-like with glowing wings, others like crawling plants with eyes. Every rustle of leaves made Lyra flinch, and every vibration in the ground seemed to amplify her agitation. Finally, they reached the outpost, a small dome of metal and glass partially hidden by the trees. Kai pried open the airlock and they stepped inside. The interior was sterile and quiet, a sharp contrast to the chaotic forest outside. Lyra sank to the floor, breathing heavily. I can feel them. Calling me. I'm not alone. Kai knelt beside her. You are now, and I'm not leaving you. We'll figure this out together. The outpost's monitors flickered to life. Weather patterns, seismic activity, and biosignals from the surrounding forest filled the screens. Kai's eyes scanned the data. Several large energy spikes were moving toward them, other members of Lyra's species drawn by the seasonal call. They're coming closer, Lyra said, her voice barely audible. Her glowing hands pressed against the floor as if grounding herself. If they find me, I can't promise what will happen. Kai clenched his jaw. He had a plan, but it was risky. He activated the outpost's energy dampeners, devices designed to mask biological signals. The monitors flickered as the dampening field stabilized, creating a small bubble of calm around them. They won't find us in here, he said. At least not for a while. Lyra's eyes softened and she leaned against him. Thank you, Kai. I don't know if I could control myself out there. Kai nodded. We'll figure it out. One step at a time. Hours passed. The storm outside raged and the forest pulsed with energy. Kai studied the monitors, noting each energy spike that approached and then drifted away. Lyra remained quiet, occasionally humming softly, a grounding technique he had taught her during calmer seasons. Suddenly, the monitors flickered and a massive energy spike appeared.
Heading straight for the outpost.
It was larger than any they had seen. Kai felt a chill. They're not leaving, Lyra whispered, her voice trembling. They're coming for me, and I can't hide forever. Kai's mind raced. He had to protect her, not just from the season, but from the wild instincts that could turn lethal. He scanned the outpost for anything that could help. Energy barriers, containment fields, even emergency pods. Lyra, listen, he said firmly. We're going to survive this. We have technology on our side. We have each other. And we have something they don't, our mind. We can think. We can plan. We're human, and that counts for a lot. Lyra looked at him, her large eyes reflecting hope and fear. You really think we can make it? Kai smiled despite the tension. I know we can, but first, we need to prepare. He moved to the control panel, typing commands to reinforce the outpost's defenses. Lights flickered, hums of energy fields filled the room, and the air grew tense with anticipation. Outside, the forest seemed to sense the presence of intruders, sending waves of energy toward the outpost. Lyra rose slowly, her glow intensifying. I'll help, she said. We can combine our efforts. My energy, your technology, Kai nodded. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Together, human ingenuity and alien instinct might just be able to withstand the oncoming storm of instinctual energy. As night fell on Jora 9, the forest outside pulsed and shimmered with approaching danger. Inside the outpost, two unlikely allies, step-siblings, human and alien, prepared to face the chaos of a season that could destroy them both. For Kai, one thought ran through his mind. Humans survive. Humans adapt. And humans never give up. The forest outside was waiting, and so was the season. The night on Jora 9 was alive. The storm outside had not subsided. Instead, it intensified. Lightning cracked through the sky, illuminating the dense forest in jagged bursts. The trees shimmered with energy, and the air pulsed with the unmistakable rhythm of Lyra's species, calling to each other across the distance. Kai paced the floor of the outpost, eyes glued to the monitors. Each energy spike moving through the forest represented another alien, drawn by the irresistible force of the mating season. Lyra sat near the energy dampener controls, glowing faintly as she concentrated, humming softly to herself. They're closer than before, Kai said, tension in his voice. If the dampeners fail, they'll know exactly where we are. Lyra's violet eyes widened. I can feel them. Their energy is strong. They're hunting me. Kai swallowed hard. Then we prepare. We can't just hide, we have to be ready to act. He moved quickly, checking the outpost's defensive systems. Walls could contain them temporarily. But the real challenge was the unpredictable nature of Lyra's instincts. He needed a plan that relied on brains, not brute force. Lyra, he said, kneeling beside her, I need you to stay calm. Focus on controlling your energy. Don't let it react to the forest. Can you do that? She nodded slowly. I'll try. But it's getting harder. Harder with each pulse outside. Kai knew she was right. The energy in the forest was like a tide, pushing and pulling at her. If she lost control, even the dampeners wouldn't be enough. He had to think fast. He scanned the equipment and grabbed a portable energy emitter, a device capable of creating a small, temporary field that could mimic Lyra's energy signature. If deployed strategically, it could act as a decoy, drawing the approaching aliens away from the outpost. "Lyra, I have an idea," he said, showing her the device. "We can trick them. If we place this outside, it'll look like your energy. They'll follow it instead of us." Her eyes lit with hope. "It could work, but I'll need to focus my energy toward it. Can you handle the rest?" Kai nodded. "I've got the outpost. You focus. We'll do this together." Minutes passed as they prepared. Lyra placed her hands on the emitter, her body glowing brighter as energy flowed from her into the device. The forest outside seemed to react instantly. Shadows shifted and distant calls answered her signal. "They're moving toward it," Kai said, relief in his voice. "It's working!" Suddenly the outpost shook violently. One of the walls quivered as a massive energy surge struck the shield. Kai grabbed the console to stabilize it. "They're testing us. The dampeners won't hold if they push harder." Lyra's glow intensified. "I can push more. But it's draining me. I can't hold it for long." Kai's mind raced. Humans survived impossible odds, he reminded himself. Adapt, improvise, overcome. He quickly activated the outpost's auxiliary power, strengthening the shields. Sparks flew, panels hissed, but the walls held. Outside, the forest pulsed with alien energy. Shapes moved through the trees, large, agile, and glowing faintly as they followed the decoy. Kai could see the strategy was working, but he knew it wouldn't last forever. A sudden crash echoed from the forest. One of the aliens had broken through a smaller energy barrier Kai hadn't noticed. It was fast, larger than the others, and moving directly toward the outpost. "Lyra!" Kai shouted. "We have a problem!" She rose to her feet, her hands glowing like twin lanterns. I can handle it," she said, determination in her voice. "But I need you to stay out of my way." Kai backed up, watching in awe. Lyra focused her energy outward, creating a shimmering barrier around the approaching alien. The creature lunged, but the energy stopped it in mid-stride, forcing it to retreat slightly. Kai realized something important. Lyra's species was powerful, but only when they controlled their instincts. The moment she panicked or lost focus, the situation could turn deadly. He needed to keep her calm. "Lyra," he called softly. "Breathe. You're in control. Focus on your center." She took a deep breath and the glow around her steadied. The alien paused, then slowly backed away, confused by the controlled energy. Kai allowed himself a brief smile. Humans were adaptable, yes, but they could also guide and support those stronger than themselves. The next hours were a test of endurance. The storm raged, the forest pulsed, and energy spikes continued to approach. Kai and Lyra worked together, she directing her energy to the decoy and him reinforcing the outpost's shields. Occasionally, the decoy attracted groups of aliens, drawing them away safely. Kai marveled at how Lyra's instincts worked. Her species had evolved to survive extreme conditions, navigate dense forests, and communicate through energy signals. Yet humans had a unique advantage: strategy, patience, and teamwork. As dawn broke, the storm began to ease. Rain dripped from the trees and the forest slowly settled into an uneasy calm. Kai and Lyra sank to the floor, exhausted but alive. "We did it," Kai said, panting. "We survived the night." Lyra smiled faintly, though her energy still pulsed faintly from exertion. "Thanks to you." "And to me," she said. "I had to focus. I had to control myself." Kai nodded. "Exactly. That's what humans do. We don't just survive, we adapt. We use our brains and hearts to get through challenges." Lyra looked thoughtful. "I've never seen a human think like that. You're strong in a different way." Kai chuckled softly. "Strength comes in many forms. Yours is raw power. Mine is thinking ahead. Together, we make a good team." They spent the next few hours reinforcing the outpost, checking supplies, and mapping the surrounding forest. Kai took detailed notes, not just on the aliens' behavior, but on Lyra's reactions. If they were to survive the full season, they needed to anticipate changes, not just react to them. By midday, a new challenge emerged. The monitors picked up a massive energy spike moving rapidly across the forest, larger than anything before and heading straight for the outpost. "Something's coming," Lyra whispered, her voice tense. I can feel it. It's different, stronger. Kai's mind raced. Then we prepare again. But this time we fight smart. We can't just block it. We need to redirect it. He grabbed another portable emitter and explained his plan. We'll use 2 decoys this time. Split its attention. You handle one. I'll handle the other. If we time it right, it will confuse them long enough for us to escape if needed. Lyra nodded, and together they moved quickly. The alien energy surged closer, a living force of instinct and power. Kai activated his emitter, sending a pulse that mimicked a human signature. A trick they hadn't tested but hoped would work. Lyra poured her energy into the other device, a bright beam shimmering into the forest. The massive alien slowed, then veered slightly, following Lyra's signal. Kai's pulse worked too. The creature's attention was divided. Now, Kai shouted. They sprinted toward a reinforced exit on the opposite side of the outpost. The alien hesitated, confused by the 2 decoys, giving them just enough time. They emerged into the open forest, panting, soaked, and tired. The storm had fully cleared, leaving an eerie calm. Energy pulses from the forest still shimmered faintly, but the immediate threat had passed, for now. Kai looked at Lyra. See? Humans survive. Humans adapt, and humans never give up even when the odds are against them. Lyra smiled, tired but relieved. I think I understand. Your strength. And I think I've learned something too. Control can be just as powerful as instinct. Kai grinned. Exactly. Now let's find a safer place to rest. The season isn't over yet, but together we can handle anything. As they moved deeper into the forest, Kai felt a surge of pride. Humans were small, fragile, and often underestimated, but their ingenuity, courage, and determination made them formidable, even against the most alien of challenges. And Lyra, wild and powerful as she was, had learned that raw strength alone wasn't enough. Together they formed a team neither the forest nor the season could easily defeat. For Kai, one thought ran through his mind again. Humans endure. Humans think, humans survive, and humans always find a way forward. The forest stretched ahead, filled with unknown dangers, but also with opportunities to survive, adapt, and triumph. The real test was just beginning, and both human and alien were ready. The forest of Joranine had settled into an uneasy quiet. The storm had passed, but the energy in the trees still pulsed faintly, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Kai and Lyra moved cautiously, stepping over roots and vines that glowed faintly in the dim light. Both were exhausted from the previous night's ordeal, but they knew the danger was far from over. The decoys worked, Kai said, checking his portable emitter. They'll be distracted for a while, but only for so long. Eventually they'll figure out we're here. Lyra nodded, her violet eyes alert despite fatigue. I feel it too. The energy, it's building again. Stronger than before. Kai clenched his jaw. Then we need a plan, a strong one. Not just to survive, but to get out safely. We can't keep running forever. They reached a natural plateau overlooking a valley filled with glowing alien vegetation. From here, they could see the movement of creatures in the forest. Energy spikes pulsed and shifted, indicating dozens of Lyra's species were nearby, responding to the mating season's call. Kai studied the valley. We'll use the terrain. Humans adapt, we think. We set up a trap, lure them toward a safe zone, and then we escape. Lyra tilted her head. You really think we can do it? Kai smiled faintly. We've done it before. Together we can do it again. They spent the next few hours preparing. Kai set up additional energy emitters at strategic points, creating a network of decoys and barriers. Lyra focused her energy to enhance the devices, projecting pulses that mimicked multiple signatures. It was intricate work, but they moved efficiently, each step guided by experience and trust. Night fell again, and the forest came alive. Energy pulses streaked through the trees, each one moving with intent. Lyra's species were highly sensitive to energy, and their instincts were near uncontrollable during this season. One wrong move could alert them to the human's location. They're coming, Lyra whispered. Her glow brightened as she projected her energy toward the first emitter, directing the attention of nearby creatures. Kai readied himself at a secondary emitter, his hand steady on the controls. Remember, stay calm. We control our energy, we control the battlefield. The first wave of aliens entered the valley, drawn to Lyra's signals. They moved with grace and power. their glowing forms cutting through the darkness like streaks of light. Lyra held her focus, keeping them on the path Kai had calculated. Suddenly, a massive alien, larger and faster than any they had seen, broke from the forest edge. It didn't follow the decoys. It was heading straight for them, its energy pulsing with raw power. Kai's heart pounded. "Lyra, this one's different." "It's not fooled." Lyra's eyes widened. "I mean, I can handle it, but you must follow my lead." Kai nodded. Humans could survive anything, but only if they adapted. Lyra extended her hands, projecting a barrier of pure energy. The massive alien charged, striking the shield. The force shook the ground, and Kai struggled to keep his footing. Lyra gritted her teeth, maintaining the energy with every ounce of strength she had. Kai realized that brute force alone wouldn't work. They needed strategy. He activated another emitter behind the creature, creating a secondary pulse. The alien hesitated, its attention divided. "Now," Kai shouted. He triggered a sequence that amplified Lyra's energy projection, creating a blinding flash. The alien recoiled, confused, giving them the opening they needed. They sprinted down the valley, moving toward a hidden ravine Kai had spotted earlier. The alien recovered quickly, but the decoys diverted the majority of the pursuing creatures. Only the massive one remained, forcing them to maintain their pace. "Keep going," Kai urged, his lungs burning. "Almost there." Lyra's energy flared, pushing the alien back as they reached the ravine. With a final burst, Kai activated the terrain's natural features. A hidden crevice, partially covered by vegetation, created a natural trap. The massive alien fell into it, unable to climb out immediately, giving them precious seconds. Kai and Lyra scrambled to the top, collapsing against the edge, gasping for air. The forest below was filled with energy pulses, but the largest threat was neutralized for now. "We did it," Lyra said, her voice trembling. "We survived the night, and the final wave." Kai nodded. "Humans survive because we think, we plan, we act. But the key is teamwork. Alone we might have failed, together, we make it." The following hours were tense but uneventful. The decoys kept the other aliens distracted long enough for them to move further from the valley and toward safer terrain. Kai and Lyra used the time to rest, catching their breath and replenishing energy. As dawn broke, the forest seemed almost peaceful. The storm clouds had vanished, leaving the planet bathed in golden light. Kai looked at Lyra, who was seated quietly, her glow faint but steady. "You were amazing," he said. "I've never seen anyone control their instincts like that." Lyra smiled faintly. "I've learned from you. You're calm, you're thinking. It helped me control myself." Kai chuckled. "Humans are adaptable. We survive. We find solutions. Even when the odds are against us." Lyra nodded thoughtfully. "I think I understand now. Strength isn't just raw power. Control, strategy, thinking ahead. That's true strength too," Kai smiled. "Exactly. That's what humans bring to the table. And now we've survived the season together." They continued moving through the forest, heading toward the nearest safe outpost where Lyra's species had established a permanent settlement. The journey was long, but with the lessons they had learned and the trust they had built, Kai felt confident they would make it. Along the way, they encountered more creatures, but each time, the combination of human ingenuity and Lyra's controlled energy kept them safe. They crossed rivers, climbed ridges, and navigated dense forests, always alert, always planning the next move. By the time they reached the settlement, both were exhausted but victorious. Lyra's family awaited them, anxious but relieved. Kai had not only protected Lyra but also shown that humans could survive, adapt, and even assist in ways her species had never imagined. As the settlement welcomed them, Kai realized something important. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't just technology or physical prowess. It was ingenuity, courage, and the ability to think ahead. Even in an alien world, surrounded by creatures whose instincts were far more powerful than his, he had found a way to survive. Lyra turned to him, her violet eyes glowing softly. "Thank you, Kai, for staying with me, for helping me control myself, for showing me that humans are strong in ways I didn't understand." Kai smiled. "And thank you, Lyra, for trusting me, for showing me that even the most powerful beings need guidance sometimes. We made a good team." The settlement buzzed with activity, but for Kai, one thought remained. Humans endure. Humans adapt. Humans survive. And together, even with the most alien of allies, they could face anything. The mating season would eventually end, and Lyra's instincts would return to normal. But the bond they had forged and the lessons they had learned would last far longer. Kai looked at the horizon. The forest of Jorah 9 stretched endlessly, mysterious and wild, and yet he felt ready. With courage, strategy, and determination, humans could face any challenge, even on the edge of an alien world. And for the first time in a long while, Kai allowed himself to feel a deep, quiet pride. He had survived. He had adapted. He had triumphed, not alone but together with an alien stepsister whose instincts had once threatened them both. Humans, he realized, didn't just survive by strength alone. They survived by thinking, planning, and never giving up, and that was a force even the wildest instincts could not overcome.